Welcome to Papyrus Plans. I'm Tasha. Ready to create something beautiful? Let's dive in. Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to do something a little unconventional. I saw a video on YouTube where someone turned a placemat into a planner cover, and I thought that was brilliant. And I'll put a link to the video that I saw as inspiration in the description bar, so you can check out her lovely channel. I forget the name of her channel, but again, I'll put a link to the original video once I find it again. But this is my planner cover, and I thought we'd do, like a little mid-year refresh. Now, this is my first attempt. Well, let me show you what the placemat looks like. So this is the placemat that I got from Dollar Tree that I showed you in my mini Dollar Tree haul. And this is my first attempt. Now, first I'm going to tell you what I did wrong. Everything actually went pretty well. Like, I figured out how to get this to the right size, cut everything down, how to get the letters to be on each side, etc. But then I made the mistake of using my Happy Planner punch, my full Happy Planner punch. And I thought, well, because this feels pretty thin, like it's plastic, but it's pretty thin. And I thought, you know what, this is like cardstock, so I think it'll punch it. Well, as you can see, it got stuck. And I could not get it out. It took me and multiple family members to try to get this thing out of there. And I remember I called my mom, who's a fellow crafter, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot get this thing out of my planner punch. What should I do? And she was like, and my dad's an engineer, and he was trying to help me. He had his tools, was trying to help me, and we didn't want to break my punch. But I was like, how on earth can I get this thing out? And she was like, it's the mechanism. And she's like, go into the living room where the carpet is and, drop it on the floor a few times, and that'll kind of, help to kind of spring the mechanism. And that surprisingly worked. But in the process, as you can see, it just completely destroyed this, and which was kind of a bummer because, like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty close to being cut and done perfectly. And so I was kind of sad about that. And I went back to my Dollar Tree, and of course, they didn't have any more of these placemats. So I actually did this, I think, like 2 or 3 months ago, because I was doing kind of like a test run. And originally I was like, you know what, I'm just going to cut it, and then if it works, then maybe I'll do a video on it. So I was kind of sad that it kind of ruined this, because I did not expect that to happen. But hey, you live and you learn, right? So it took me going to multiple other Dollar Trees a couple of months later to be able to find another one of these, because I really like this design. I thought it was really cute. And it reminds me of going to like a flower market or a farmer's market, that kind of thing. So we're going to try this again. This time, hopefully, I'll be able to post the video. But I just wanted to show you that, hey, things don't always work out for me on the first try. I am a seasoned crafter and DIYer, but, sometimes things like this happen. Or sometimes we're like, and the thing is, I knew I shouldn't have put it in there, and I did it anyway because I was like, well, it's going to be easier so I can do all the holes because I didn't want to have to punch them out individually. And I thought, you know what, this is thin, and it is. And I feel like if this wasn't plastic, I think it would have worked. But I think because of the coating on it, it's like it got stuck in there and it would not come out. So do not do that. Do not use your planner punch for this. You're going to have to do this manually. And I think the lady's video that I looked at originally, I can't remember because it's been a while ago, but I think she might have just cut it out with scissors. I think I'm going to try to use my individual punch. I think that might work, my We Are Memory Keepers one, but we'll see. I might have to do like she did and use scissors, but I will definitely not use my Happy Planner punch because it did not like that. Okay, so that's the first attempt. So, and one of the things I like that she did is she used her planner cover basically as a guide. So I'm gonna do the same thing again. And again, it doesn't work out perfectly, but it comes pretty close. That way you don't have to fuss too much with it. And I thought that was kind of a nice way to make it easier. So I'm gonna snap this off. And again, use that as a way to kind of measure everything. And for this one, because she didn't have text, hers was a little bit easier to do because I have this text at the top and I need the length in order to be big enough, because when I bring it down, it's either going to have like a third of the letters all the way, and that's going to look weird. So I have to capture the letters. And so I wanted to be able to capture the letters and most of this wheel. So let me bring this back in so you can see what I mean. So this is kind of like the happy median that I chose, is cutting off part of the wheel, but I have to get all of the letters here at the top. So that's what I did. I cut basically up to maybe just like a 1/16 of an inch above the text here, and then use this to figure out where to cut here. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to slide my We Are Memory Keepers paper cutter over. And I've had this for a while, but it is still kicking. And let's see, is this flat? Yes. Okay. Actually, let me take this little decal off if I can. Let's peel up this label, because sometimes you leave these labels on too long, they become almost impossible to take off. So I want to take that off. And then I'm going to use my rubberized adhesive remover to get this last little bit of the label. All right, so we have the label off. Now, I chose this one because it's coated, and because originally I was going to get one of the regular placemats, because you could use, for example, a paper placemat, but then you would have to laminate it. So I might do another video doing that, just to show you that process, because I think that will work well. And I have a couple of really pretty paper placemats left, I think, in my stash. So I might do that for another video. But let's go ahead and do this. And let's see. I think first things first, I'm going to cut along the middle here to get right up against this S. And again, as best as I can. And hopefully, yeah, there's a line there. So let me move it. This shows you like a little shadow line so you can see where to cut. So I'm bringing it literally up to the edge of that. And I'm doing my best to line this up on this side. So let me make sure that this is even. Slide it over. So I'm lining it up with this edge here. So it's on the 8 7/8 mark. Okay. So 8 7/8. Again, just to make sure it's straight up and down. And then I'm going to cut over here. Okay. So as you can see, that cuts pretty well. It's got these little, again, because it's plastic, you're going to have some little edges that are frayed, but again, you can just kind of do like I'm doing and pull them off. Okay. So let's bring this in, and hopefully this is wide enough. Yes, it is. Okay. So we have the width we need. Now let's cut it down to size. So again, I'm going to, again, just to show you my original, I'm going to keep it as close to the top of the letters as possible, because again, I want to get most of the wheel here. And if I didn't have to worry about this text, I wouldn't have to worry about that. I would just worry about the image. But because I have to worry about this text, I got to get all of the text in. So I want to get it just barely in. So again, I can capture most of the truck. So that's why I'm cutting it this way, just so you can understand kind of my strategy here. So on each one, I'm cutting it, again, I'm putting it in so I can see the little shadow line that it creates, and then sliding it down so that I can capture the letter I gotta worry the most about is the L. So bring it down so I can capture the L. Now I'm gonna go back and make sure this is straight. So this is on 10 1/2. And I'm gonna cut this way. So again, as you can see, this cuts really well. So I've got the L captured in, again, just barely, but I can see all of the text, okay? So now let's do this side, again on the top. So I'm looking here at the shadow, and I'm gonna slide it in. So this one I think is gonna be the K, that's gonna be the tallest letter, or the, oh no, it's the M. Okay, so let me slide it back down. Again, I wanna make sure it doesn't cut through the letters. So about right there. But again, I want to make sure it's even. So line this up. Again, that's on the 10 1/2 mark. So let's cut that. Okay, so I could trim that a slightly more. Let's see, maybe I'll do right there. Let's see, what is that? 10 1/4 instead of 10 1/2. Again, I want to capture the letters, but not have too much space at the top because I want to keep the bulk of the truck. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so I cut off another 1/4 inch. Okay, so now we have the top where I want it. Now we've got to get the length for the actual planner. So I think this is 7 1/4 by 9 1/2 plus the this is laminated, so it looks like there's about 1/8 to almost 1/4 inch on either side. So I'm going to see what that measure is. So it measures with the, with the clear lamination on the cover, it comes at 9 5/8. Okay. So I'm doing that again just to kind of see where I should put this. So I'm going to put this at the 9 5/8 mark. And using that as my guide and lining it up on this side so that when I cut it, it'll be even on this side. Okay. So now I know this is where I need to cut. Okay. All right. So now we have the length this way. So let's see what it is like this. So it's 9 5/8 long and the paper is 7 inches. So I'm guessing maybe 7 5/8, but let's look. See, this is almost 7 3/4 width-wise. I mean, just a hair shy of it. So yeah, about between 7 5/8 and 7 3/4. It's actually in between that mark, but I don't have a line there. So I'll just choose one or the other. So let's maybe do 7 5/8 to make it the same. Let's see, 7, and we'll slide it down to the 5/8 mark. Right there. Again, I'm making sure it's lined up. Again, so this side will be straight. Okay, so now it's 9 5/8 lengthwise, 7 5/8 this way. Okay. Now, if you don't want to measure, the first time around, I think I just took this and took my scissors. Oh, let's see, let me get my original. These are the ones I just did. I took this on top like the lady did and just kind of freehanded it. So either way will work, whatever is easiest for you. I kind of did that in the beginning, just where the letters were, and then just kind of make it a little bit more accurate. I'm cutting along the side to do that. Okay. But if you don't want to have to measure at all, you could do like she did, put your planner cover on top, hold it down with, like some binder clips, like this on either side, and then just use your scissors and freehand it. I think that's what she did, if I remember correctly. So you could do that. Because I have this text to worry about, I'm being a little bit more accurate. So now this side time, I'm turning it this way because this is the side I want to get rid of the length. Okay. So I know the measure is 7 5/8. So now I'm going to take it over here and do the same thing. So putting it in, lining up to the 7 5/8 mark. And because this one has that slight curve at the top, I'm going to bring it over just a hair. Okay. Then put it here. So that's 7 5/8. Okay. So see, these two are the same widthwise. Now we're going to do 9 5/8 lengthwise. So let's slide it in here. And again, because of this placemat, because it's plastic and it has, it's not fully flat, even though it looks like it is, but because of the coating, it doesn't sit perfectly in here like a sheet of paper. So I'm doing my best to get as close as possible to accurate, but it's going to be off by like maybe a 32nd of an inch on either side, but it's going to be pretty close to accurate. And so that's what we're aiming for. So again, 9 5/8, and it's going to cut off a sliver of the wheel. All right, so that's those cuts done. Let me slide this back over. Okay, so that's essentially the cover, right? Now we need to punch it. And this is where I ran into trouble last time. So I think the hardest part is if you want to measure, like I just did. But as I showed you, it's not really that difficult if you know the measures of your planner. But again, if you don't even want to measure, just take this, put it down, use some binder clips just to keep it, or tape or something, just to make sure that it doesn't move while you're cutting it. So you can have it straight like this. And then take your scissors and just freehand it. Okay, so it's up to you. So this is the original I messed up. So put that to the side. Now I have my, what is this called? My We Are Memory Keepers planner punch. And I think what I'm going to do is take this, put it on top, and maybe make some pencil lines if I can see them. And do it that way. So I'm basically lining it up like I would if I was going to cut this. And I think I will use these clips to keep it in place here. And I'm lining up the clear edge, so I don't know if you can see, but I'm lining up the clear laminated edge to make sure that this is accurate, okay? So the clear edge here and here, okay? Now, let's see. Pencil. And I'm just gonna just roughly shade in where I should punch it so that I have an idea of where to hold this. And I don't want to use a permanent marker just in case it doesn't line up perfectly. But I think this is the best way to do it because the pencil shouldn't be seen technically. So I did that again so I can see where to punch. Since this you line up with a hole, but since I don't have a hole to to slide it down into, I'm gonna do it this way. And this has, I don't know if you can see, but it has these little lines here. So I'm gonna use the lines here instead of this as a guide because since I can't slide it onto this hole, I'm gonna use the lines here and this hole here and this line middle here to line it up. So that's what I'm doing just so you can understand. So I'm doing the first hole and I'm using this center line with the pencil mark I created to try to line it up as best I can. See how it cut. Now this is plastic, so let's see. Oh, that did pretty well. Okay, I should have followed my first instincts and used this. Now because it's plastic, again, it has these little stray little bits, but it cut 90% of it. So I think I'm gonna do that and then maybe let me get my small scissors. Use these to kind of clean up the edge at the end. But now I have this hole that I can then slide in here. So now I can use this normally, okay? So I guess all I really need to do was do the first arrow, if I had thought about it, with the pencil marks. So I'm gonna, again, and this is thick with these two together, but I'm using this to kind of stabilize it. Okay, so now I have enough where I feel confident I can take this off. So you can see that I lined that up perfectly. But I just wanted to make sure I lined it up with my planner punch. So now that I know that it is, I can just do this. So it snaps down here. So that's what I'm doing. It's kind of hard to do this on camera, but. Okay. So I'm gonna punch all of these out and then I'll be right back. All right, so I just finished cutting all of the holes here. And as you can see, it did a pretty good job. I mean, there's a little bit here. So again, like I said, I'm gonna take my very small scissors and kind of clean up this edge. But I mean, you could leave this. I mean, this is pretty minor. I mean, we're kind of nitpicking at this point. But just to show you that you can take your small scissors and do that. Because this is coated. It punches, but sometimes the edges are a little frayed. Okay, so that cleans that up. Now I think what I'm gonna do is put this on top. And again, clean up this edge. Like this. And do the same thing. Oh no, this is going, I should have moved over slightly. I didn't think about the A. It might cut into the A a little bit. Hopefully I can still see what it is. That's kind of annoying. Okay, so I just did like the first two, again, just to kind of have a rough idea of where it should be. And actually, maybe I'll do this so I can see it a little bit better. Again, just to get that first hole. The first hole is going to be the hardest. And then line it up here. Yeah, that worked. So yeah, I cut into the A a little bit, but I can still see it. So yeah, with text, you just got to be really careful because, I mean, I planned as best I could. I didn't think about the punch coming in. So you got to count for, what is that? It's like 1/4 of an inch, maybe. About 1/3 of an inch in, you have to count for into this. So I should have offset it slightly a little bit more. But actually, I really couldn't because the letters are so close. Like, I cut down the middle, so yeah, I couldn't have. So, okay, that's the only downside I would say to using something with text at the top is if you don't have space, like this barely has space in between the letters, and so I cut just right down that part. And I cut this edge, and the only cut I made was down the middle to break these two apart. So yeah, that couldn't have been avoided, unfortunately, in this design. But if you have a design with text that has space in the middle, cut as close to the left side as possible to give yourself a little bit of some space on this side to account for the holes. So just FYI. In this case, again, I couldn't have done that because the text was so close. But if you do have space, just make sure you do that. Okay, so now I have this one, this first hole that, again, I'm going to use. And then so I'm going to punch all these, and then I'll be right back. But I just wanted to show you that part of the process. Okay, so there's our finished cover. So now let's put it on and see what it looks like. So I'm gonna slide my planner back in. Let's put the front cover on. And I think the only other thing I need to do is around the corners here. So that looks pretty good. So let me get my 𝘴𝑘𝐻 corner chomper. And let's see, I think this might be, let's test this, 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch. Get a scrap piece of paper to test this on. Let's do, this might just be a 1/4 inch. Yeah, it's a 1/4 inch. Okay. So I was just testing it to see what size it is. So I have a 1/4 inch side and 1/2 inch side, so I'm gonna use the 1/4 inch side. But this is so durable, and because it's the plastic one, it's waterproof. So I literally can just wipe this down. So if you can find more of these kind of like plasticky kind of ones that are thin, I think that's really the way to go. So just putting it in the corner. Again, because it's plastic, it might, let's see. Let me get my other one. Let's see how this one does. Kind of use it as a guide and then use my scissors because it is plastic. I mean, it did okay. Again, you just kind of have to clean it up because it's plastic. Kind of gives you the start. Let's see if this one will do it on its own. Oh, okay, this isn't quite a 1/4 of an inch, but it's definitely can go through it. I think I got this one on Amazon. Again, it's a little bit deeper of a cut, but it's cleaner. So I might do that. This is my super old one, so I don't know if I can find this again. But if I can, I'll try to find it or link to something similar. Like you can see that just literally snapped. That snapped that off really well. So this one is from 𝘴𝑘𝐻, and it couldn't quite get there. So again, this one's going to be a little uneven, but like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but we'll do our best to come close. Okay, it's not too bad. let's put those back. All right, now let's snap this in place. Okay, get some of these little plastic pieces off. All right, now let's snap this in and take a look. And let's turn it over. Oh my God, you guys. Were you guys screaming at me the whole time? I punched the wrong side. Oh wait, I have the other one. Wait. I have this one. Okay, that way the text isn't going to be messed up. Haha, okay. Thank God I have two. Okay. All right, be mindful of which side you're punching. Definitely buy two of the one you're going to use, because I did this and I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, oh, left side. I was thinking about, you know, the front cover. Obviously the back cover is going to be the opposite side. Okay, this is why we do these things. I make mistakes, so you don't have to. All right, let me bring my planner punch back in, and this thing is getting full. I think I might have to dump it. Let me take some of this out. So you just kind of open the front here, and then it snaps back in place. Okay. All right. Right side. Okay, my goodness. Let's see, I'm gonna... And see, this one I freehanded, so it's a little bit shorter, but at least it'll match. Do that just so I can see where the first hole is. Then once you have the first hole, it kind of makes it easier to get the next one. Okay, get my scissors and snap a little piece off. Okay. All right, let's try this again. My goodness. All right, let's try this again. Take two. All right. This folder is falling apart. Need to get a new folder. All right, there we go. Okay, now let's round the corners on this. This one doesn't want to get in. Come on. There we go. I didn't have it in all the way. Okay, so the corners are around it and it snaps in pretty well. Again, it's really sturdy because it's plastic. So I mean, it's got really good durability to it. So I definitely think this will, again, be durable, and it's wipeable. So it's like the same kind of durability as this. Just instead of it being laminated, this is basically a plastic placemat. So, but you get the same kind of thickness and durability. Now, this is a little bit thicker. Feeling this, yeah, this is definitely thicker, but this has the same durability. So this is lighter, but has the same, I think, longevity because it's wipeable. So that's what it looks like from the front. And this is it from the back. And I think it's just a really cute way to be able to change your planner cover in an affordable way, especially if you get placemats from Dollar Tree. But, you know, since my Dollar Tree doesn't have very many, I'm going to check out some other stores, you know, maybe like Target or something like that, or Walmart. I really like the idea of using these coated placemats because it gives you that durability and it's wipeable. So, you know, if you accidentally spill some water on it or something like that, it's easy to kind of clean up. It kind of mimics the laminated original cover without it being laminated. So I think that is super cute. I love this, and I love this truck. And I'm glad I had that second piece to kind of salvage this. So these are lessons and takeaways. If you just have a design, this will not be nearly as complicated. Because if I didn't have to worry about the text, I would have been okay up until the time I punched it. So if you have text, you have to think about not only the text at the top, you have to think about the spacing in between the text when you cut it apart, how much is left on the back cover side. And you have to think about the side over here leading into the text, or actually I should say the side on this side. So make sure that you're punching the right side. It's going to be the left side for the front cover, the right side for the back cover. I momentarily lapsed and punched them on the same side. So this is the one that got caught in my Happy Planner punch. Do not put this through Happy Planner punch. I'm happy to say that the We Are Memory Keepers punch was able to punch this pretty beautifully. I just had to use my scissors to kind of clean up the inside edge, but it cut it 95% of it pretty clean. So you could just leave it alone if you didn't want to go back in there with your scissors. But again, make sure you're punching the right side. And I think this is super cute. So I have Make Memories along the way. And then I have this cute little vintage truck that just went to the flower market and is picking up some flowers for an event. So that's going to be my video, you guys. And again, I might try this with a paper placemat and laminate it to see if I can get something similar to this. But hopefully this gives you some ideas of things that you can do to kind of refresh your planner if you want to change things up, or if you're the kind of person that likes to change things up, or if you're just kind of getting bored with your cover. All right, I'll talk to you later. And that's going to be it for me. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay inspired, and thank you for watching.